Are you recording as well?
Yes, yes, indeed. So let's begin. Wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. My warmest greetings to you. I hope you're all doing really, really well. And so here we are back with a new discussion, your friendly neighborhood wizards. This time talking about channeling and light language. And this one's an interesting one. So I hope you enjoy this episode and that you get something beneficial out of it. Thank you for your time.
The thing with this subject is you can't really study it. It's got to be within. So it's going to be it. Well, yeah.
So
Shall we?
let's go ahead, please.
Yeah, shall we do the bowls? So we
I think
we
that's
take a vote.
appropriate.
I might
Uh,
do two because I'm a bit of a poser today. So, we do that together then.
okay.
Before we start, I haven't told you I had a vision. You can tell me this vision, and I'm going to put it on here. I had a vision that we were sorcerers manifesting from source, Calimine, to get rid of a demon. And it's true, didn't that?
Well,
I actually saw it. It was great. Mm.
absolutely. There are many roles that different beings of light are taking. Some is repair work, some is providing the energy for the repair, and then there's some that restore balance. So anything that is out of balance, moving too much to one pole, light or dark, this is causing problems for the collective. And so this is not
Mm.
an act of anger or vengeance. No, no, no. It's just restoration of balance. And so that
Mm.
consciousness, which is imbalanced, can choose to return to the path of divine evolution. And so this is a nice way of saying certain beings do not respond to polite language. And so they require a little slapping around sometimes. Maybe you add a little flame as salt and pepper. So yeah, it's an honor to.
We were wizards then. Times don't
Well,
change.
what do you know, huh? Nothing changes. Different bodies, different era, but the same old, same old.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going on. So many of our audience will probably have experienced heavier energy in the
Yeah.
past few days, and so. This is all towards the highest good of all: correction, rebalancing. So I suppose the outcome of this in the physical reality is going to be more extended than just a few days. So the outcome of the battle waged towards balance, I think that'll
Mm.
take a good few months, perhaps towards a year, to really show. But the outcome is positive.
Should we go on to the experiences of the week instead of channels, or should we do that again?
Hey, we might as well.
Yeah, well, on Monday, I was telling you there's this new snake-like parasite that's got an implant in it. It's completely against the rules. And I went into the implant like I did, and he set a trap, didn't they? Good old trap. But I'd merged with the Ascended Master, so I wasn't not equipped, if you get what I mean. And they stabbed me with this like lightsaber, but it was like a long spear made of like glass or crystal. And when it went in, it was like very cold, dense energy. And the pain was really, But my ascended master just lost it. He grabbed hold of the being, which I think could have been Archon. So it wasn't. They got the big boys in, and his lights went white gold, and it just disintegrated the neck. Absolutely, but he lost it. He destroyed everything. Didn't give any second chances. 20-mile radius was completely obliterated, and he basically said after. I've never seen him angry before. Basically, he said it was personal. So. So yeah, I've never seen him do that. Now, on the Thursday, a Reiki master was healing this woman who started shaking like she was on the Kundalini awakening. And she clocked me over in the end, three healers. And it was an entity, but it was a demonic entity, very powerful. It was tapped into the Kundalini. So it was like having a semi-fit. So I pulled it in. I pulled it into me. Now you're going to tell me that it's so high risk. It's not worth, but I know I get that. It's high risk. So I quickly, within seconds, went to a plant, took it into the plant, and then last night I found out I hadn't got rid of it. But I'd done 14 hours of meditation, which is unusual for me. Got me chi energy up to balance. And about 8:30 last night, I started having hot sweats of probably 110, something like that. I thought I was dying. And cold sweats at the same time through different parts of my body. I started having massive ringing in my head and I felt very faint. I had to lie down. And what I was told, what I had to bring in, I brought in Kalimar, I brought in Emerald Order, I brought in Andromeda, I brought in the team, I brought in the Ascending Master. And it took us an hour and a half to get rid of it. And then I was fine. And basically, the hot temperature disintegrated it. It managed to, and I wasn't ill. I thought I'd be sick afterwards, but I wasn't. And that was my attack yesterday. So that was a crazy, crazy night last night.
So the nature of it was archonic.
The Monday was Archon, but last night I think it was demonic. I think it was more
Okay.
demonic than anything. But I'm not 100% because we disintegrated it, so
Okay.
I couldn't review it that very well. Yeah, I was trying to live. I was trying to live.
Understood.
Mm.
Yes, I had a incursion with three archonic consciousness, plural, trying to incarnate into human vessels. And so this is occurring dimension 7, coming down to 4. And so in my dragon aspect, I was waiting for them. And that was so funny. As soon as they landed, I say, "Hey, welcome to Earth." And the last thing is, "Oh no, oh hell no!" Like that was the surprise that they face. "Oh no," with more colorful language. But I've been speaking with lots of
So,
wonderful
so, so,
people.
just want to see you got rid of Archons and I have this week. Isn't that good?
Isn't that
But
something?
Archons don't normally interfere. They normally get low life to come here, so they actually do it themselves. So,
It's desperate.
yeah.
It's absolutely an act of desperation. It seems that the capacity of negative beings to extract energy from more people, this is being reduced. So as the energy source is depleting, they're panicking.
Getting the big
So
boys down.
yes, 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 yes. The
Mm.
higher ranking ones are coming in kind of with an attitude. If you want to get something done properly, you got to do it
Mm.
yourself. And they come in,
Th-
and,
th-
and then
This was
here
an
we
high
are.
ranking. This was an high ranking Archon. And you could tell he was all suited up and everything. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Like
they're not just using low life Archon. They actually the very big high ones are
yeah,
coming
yeah. And
in.
so this is good news, that they're being removed
Mm.
permanently. And so
Yeah.
these are of the order that cannot be rebalanced. There
Mm.
really is no negotiation. And so, in that sense,
Mm.
the most merciful thing for that being also is just make it quick. Make
Yeah,
it quick.
that's unique. That's the negotiating.
Yeah, there's the negotiation just puts one at risk at this point.
No, I'm
Uh,
just saying your negotiation is death.
oh yes, with a little like
Well,
quirky few words. Welcome to
but
Earth.
My SME master just grabbed hold of him and just white light came out of him and he was disintegrating. Amazing to watch.
Yeah,
But same week we've had Archons. Very unusual for her, by the way.
absolutely.
Mm,
And so the
mm,
energetic ripples of this, I think everybody watching us has picked up in the last few
yeah,
days.
yeah.
Uh, so that's good. All in all, another day in the office, in the wizard office. Yeah.
One thing I did learn is if you're ever getting rid of an implant, you've got to realize that implant's been in that body for a long time or a bit, and they know they have an healing, so they can set a trap.
Hmm.
And instead of setting a normal trap, we set on me an Archon trap. And it got me in the back. I bet I got a scar there. It was painful,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but it didn't kill us. Yeah.
Well, with
Uh,
lower ranking ones, where it's not a matter of urgency, some of the implants are a mix of technology and biology.
yeah.
So they can be repurposed, as in go find the rest of your kind and disinfect people. And
Mm.
everyone you pull out, you reprogram. So this is you. I mean, why waste something that is useful?
Well,
All of us.
I've actually what when I went in and I was transferring to the light, I was actually sending a booby trap into the implant. So when they connect, they get a massive belt. As I'm doing it, I got attacked. So it didn't work.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't take. You got to go back to the instant removal kind of strategy. But I think as the
Mm,
big players are being removed, or their rank is being shrinked and reduced, this is going to be beneficial for the collective. And
mm,
so I'm extremely hopeful, extremely hopeful. Uh, this time around, things are going to be different for all of
mm,
us. No more extinction events. No more. No more. No more Matrix,
mm,
because that's ready to roll out too.
mm,
So happy days. Well, not that it's going to be a sudden change in 24 hours. No, a gradual shift. But as a collective, as a species, humanity's on the right path, and things are going to be amazing for our descendants, for us in other bodies.
I think the next few years is going to be a bit crazy, a bit difficult, but I'm sure we'll
Completely.
get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We can't say we are. We've got to be on our defensive part. I'd say that's why we're
true.
here. That's why we're
Yeah, yep, yep, yep. So that's an interesting update. But I think many of our wonderful and esteemed audience would have picked up the aftermath, or the what's it called after the main earthquake, secondary quake.
Mm,
Wow, wow, wow.
mhm.
Interesting, interesting. So
It
shall
did
we?
teach me
Yeah,
it did teach me Ascending Master is absolute powerful. It's unbelievable. I saw him in his anger mode. He doesn't take prisoners. Didn't take any. Yeah.
highly appropriate. When you need to, you have to.
What I thought I'd do, we could start with just, I know we're doing channeling, but last week there was one thing that we did forget. We'll just skip it very quickly because I've got
Sure
a thing
thing.
in it, and that is
Absolutely.
sacred geometry. But I'll share screen and I've got to find it. And it's snowflakes. I think they are so unbelievable. Let's just have a look. And they've got all different names. That just shows you there's more to life that we just don't know. How are they made? Uh, Sometimes it's a vibration in the air, but a lot of times we don't actually know. But if you think source doesn't exist, just look at a snowflake. Uh, did you know they had names? I didn't. Look at that hexagonal plate,
Well,
stellar
apparently
plate. Hmm?
Eskimos, they've got 50 different words for snow. Soft snow, hard snow, new snow, old snow, because that's all they have around them. It's pretty much
Yeah.
snow, but not all
Mm.
snow is equal. Uh,
Look at
oh
them
my goodness.
snowflakes.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And this
How
is,
do you actually put them in a microscope before they melt?
well, you take the microscope with you in the freezer. You got to have a big freezer, and then you watch it.
Yeah, that's
So
amazing, isn't it?
with water, um, so this is a whole field of medicine,
Mm.
homeopathy, where they distill it down until there's no chemical of the medicine left, but the energetic residue remains in the water. Highly peer reviewed and very effective. So you're not ingesting any kind of chemical anymore, but just the energy or the imprint of the energy of the chemical, and it seems to work just fine for the body. Another interesting study, I forget the professor's name, a Japanese professor working on water. One sample, you give it the energy of love. You just
Mm.
hold the container and just tell it, I love you. And then another one, identical in every way, then you give it the energy of hate and chaos. And then when these freeze, the one with love forms all these beautiful crystalline patterns. The one with chaos and hatred, the crystals are all messed up.
Mm. I've
So,
seen that. I've seen that.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
I've just had a message that these are frequencies, but this is a message from the spirits of the earth, the weather spirits. Uh, yeah, amazing. But it is amazing how they can form different symbols from different vibrations, just by
Yes,
thought
there's,
patterns as well.
oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. There's something to water. It's not one of the primordial elements for no reason.
Mm.
It's very much uh, the prerequisite to life as we know it,
Mm.
physical life. It's one of the most powerful solvers. You can make solutions with water. And
Mm.
so also we have it in all three states. So pretty much it's an amazing, intelligent substance. Most of the wonderful people I work with, at the end, I ask them to bless the water, create holy water,
Mm.
and you don't need any bells and whistles. You just hold the glass or the container in your hand and say, "Hey, I love you. Help me heal."
Yeah, a really good way of doing that is just say you've had a really great moment in your life. You can bring that into your mindset, your remote viewing, and then you can send that into it. That's probably even better than because all of a sudden your image of that is focused into the water. Funny
The
enough,
emotions, yeah.
sometimes when I want to, yeah, sometimes when I want to try and heal Earth, I actually go into the 18D where the celestials are, and there's some dragons there, and we create like a vortex field around the frequency energy, and we have a program. We set a program in, and we actually use the Akashic records to bring the pre-blueprint, ancient blueprint into the actual field, and then we send it into the Pacific Ocean. And then because water's got a memory, it just spreads like a virus, well, like an antivirus of that memory right through. And well, everywhere on Earth will get it. So sometimes the best way to actually lift the vibration is to use the water because we're 70%
Yes,
water on the Earth.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And that is
Agreed.
a form, that's channeling, isn't it? That's channeling into the high vibrational beings, asking them for guidance because you always got to ask for help. Channel into the dragons at what you need, and channel into the Akashic records to bring the blueprint into this higher realm, and then send it into the. Oh, everything's channeling if you think about it.
So I think it's a good time
Chan-
to get
Channeling
into
time.
channeling, right? That's what we set out to talk
Mm,
about. But it all nicely came together.
mm.
Channeling. Hmm. What is this
Uh,
channeling that you speak of?
I can give you an example. We've already done channeling when we were using the bowls because we would have set some intentions to clear the space, and we would have done that subconsciously, and we would have brought in probably high vibration energies into it. We would have you would have using dragon's breath. I noticed like I was. So then we would have been channeling into that dragon's breath, trying to merge with it. So we did so much channeling onto them bowls that you just no one can realize.
Oh,
They just think
absolutely.
it's just sound, but
Yeah.
also what you can actually do when you're doing this, you can actually bring the sound into your subconscious itself, like a reversal, and you can actually send that to the light grid. So everyone gets the vibration
Yes.
and obviously set the intention. So it's not a wide area.
And also not just the grid of light or the ocean of light, but also the Earth's natural grid work.
Mm.
And so, and none of this is a violation of free will. The
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
remedy is made available. And so
Mm.
then a certain being, sovereign being, maybe a human, prays to the beloved divine, hey, I need help. And then through that act, this is available to them. So you become an intermediary for the blessings that are received. Very
Mm.
beautiful. So you talked about different aspects of the mind. Let's just extend it a little bit more. Consciousness, because the mind is part of it,
Mm.
absolutely. So with channeling, what are we tuning into? It's not the conscious mind. The tone, the vocabulary, and the information changes. So it's something different than the conscious part of, let's say, the physical part of the consciousness. So I think it all begins with reaching a meditative state. The conscious mind needs to
Mm.
be relaxed. And you perhaps see this in many channelers that what they channel, they're completely out of it. They don't know, they have no awareness of it. And so when you ask them, okay, what have you seen? They've been dancing around with the fairies and unicorns and having an awesome time. Meanwhile, the vessel is used to convey a message.
Mm.
It does take significant amounts of energy. Now, depending on what is being channeled, it can be very taxing and exhausting. But I think the first step is learning how to relax the conscious mind. And so that usually begins with a meditative process or practice. Over time, you learn to silence the monkey brain. The monkey is
But
chill.
I was going to say the the brain, yeah, the brain is a program, it's a computer. You've got to take over it basically. And I always think you got to take over your soul and your heart chakra and everything. If you let your brain run its course, it can start working with the shadow, your shadow. And that's when you start getting weird voices in your head and you start getting your demons, your own demons, and you start fighting each other. It becomes one big battleground. But if you take over the brain can heal every part of your body whatever it is, absolutely everything. But it's got to know the problem, and a lot of the time the brain is not very bright on that area, if you get what I mean. So yeah, the first thing I would agree with you, take over your brain, and once you take over it, then your meditation becomes it. You're not thinking for me. You're not thinking from this. You don't want to think. You think from here. And some people think from other parts of the body, and it just gets ridiculous. If you
Yes,
get
yes,
what I
it
mean.
lands them. Yes, yes, it lands them into all sorts of trouble. Yes, yes, we have all of this. This is a fact. So,
Mm,
consciousness. Well, the physical brain is part of it. But
mm,
then there's the programming you mentioned. Um, so now I would like to give credit to the Indian master Sadhguru. So this is the first time I heard of this, and it was through him. Four pillars of consciousness. First being the ego or identity. Then the conscious mind that serves the ego. So, for example, you receive a channeled message and your identity says you are just a 3D human. Then the brain starts fighting. No, 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 it can't be. You're imagining it. It can't be. It's all nonsense and so on. So the ego has to be expansive. Then there's memory. So you mentioned the Akashic records. That's a form of memory. All sorts of genetic memory, elemental memory, atomic memory, Akashic memory, universal memory, elemental memory. Again, if your identity is small, you can access only a tiny part. And so it seems in all of this, it's the programming, the identity that comes in. And then comes the super infinite, brilliant genius of the soul. And that is also limited by the programming or ego. So a successful anything, whether you're a remote viewer, a channeler, a healer, a magician, let's just call you the mighty human. A successful mighty human has broken down the boundaries of ego. And it's simple. The truth is understood and runs as the baseline program. And that truth is there is no me, there is no you, there is no here, there is no now. I am everyone, everything, everywhere. That changes everything. And so then you have access to what you have access to consciously. So many correct modalities from age-old times, they started with this ego death. And then certain misguided... Go
It's
ahead.
not right. Ego death. It's not really ego death. It's like a dance with the ego. The ego needs to be there sometimes. So
They
it's
call
like
it this.
all the parts is like an embracing of it, and you're dancing all together. Your shadow needs to be there. Your ego needs to be there, but you're in control of it, and that's what happens when you let your ego and your shadow overtake you. You never become spiritual.
So let's...
Yeah.
I like that. I like that very much. So with the death of the ego, there is a rebirth into an
Yeah.
infinite definition.
Yeah.
So then you accept that everything is you, which is
Mm.
true. Now slowly being proven by quantum physics, certainly earlier on through meditative practices. And once one has access to more beyond what is physical, that is also proven. This is accessible to everyone.
Mm.
So the software needs to be upgraded.
Yeah.
Control of the mind and expansion of the ego.
Well, I used to have a red mist, and that's why I did martial arts, but I couldn't control it. And I learned that I used to put him in a box, but the box wasn't a prison, it was a box to keep him there. And when I need him, I'll let him out. And I got jumped a few times in my life. When he comes out, just let him do the job. Then he goes back in and he's satisfied.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's not an elimination of instincts or emotions.
Mm.
It's knowing that they are valued and honored. They have their
Mm.
place to keep us alive, like the example that you mentioned. So they're absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Overcoming shortcomings and base nature. They're still there. We're very much so a member of the animal kingdom. But we're not ruled by anger, by jealousy, by sadness and depression, by greed and hate and so on. But need be,
Mm.
if aggression is required to protect your children, oh, you better bet it's there. Or self-preservation, right? So this is in its own valued and honored place.
Yeah,
So
I open the door and say it's your time. Your time to shine.
come, come, come. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. So now let's go into what is being channeled. And so
Mm.
here comes a lot of controversy. Because once you allow other aspects of your infinite consciousness to speak, so to
Mm.
speak, how do you know who it is? It may be a being that does not have your highest good in mind.
Mm.
Or it might be, on the flip side, it could be a beautiful, positive being that not only wants to help you and your highest good, but the highest good of all.
Yeah, if it's your oversoul, so all the aspects in there will have your vibration, but some of them aren't that good, to be honest. Some of them are quite dark because obviously we're balanced. And if we've got an ascended master like Hermes, we're going to have a Baal of Orion, we're going to have some really dark. But you can connect with them, and some of them do change. Some of them want to 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 release the evil part of them. They're still dark at Ensign, but they still want to help you. So it's a learning curve over decades. I do think that channeling your own aspects is a lot better than channeling beings outside because you don't. I do the highest ones because you can tell by the vibration, but anything that's like very, very not as high, you can get tricked quite easily. You might think it might be an angelic gate again, Michael, but it could be demonic quite easily because demons have got the angelic part in them. Yeah,
Spot on. Like
that's better.
you just said everything. I can't improve that in any way, and I'm left with agreeing with you
Yeah.
completely. There is a
Mm,
mess out there. So the mess isn't just in the 3D. Everywhere is messy, and so
mm,
one it is prudent that one doesn't open oneself up completely to the unknown.
mm,
There are
mm.
all sorts
Uh,
of
uh,
uh,
can I mention one thing? I know
please.
people and they say we having spiritual sex. Sorry, that doesn't exist. These are spirits. They don't have it. You're being tricked. It's not possible. And that is just to get themselves into you, basically, and control you. And people
Yes,
don't
yes,
realize.
yes,
And
yes.
I've seen quite a few people in the past that have been
With
tricked
a
that way.
spirit, yes, that is highly risky. There is a
Mm,
correct way of doing that. That would be Tantra.
yeah.
And so that is with conscious awareness and absolutely with the consent of both parties.
Mm,
So it's very much so an exchange of energy. Very, very
mm,
healing. But
mm.
again, the conditions must be right. There's absolutely an element of trust and respect and honor, both
A bit,
parties.
a bit like the black widow spider. You might get eaten.
Well, you see, that's the thing. One has to always maintain vigilance. Now,
Mm,
especially with a consciousness that is out of body, it's too risky.
mm,
Especially, well, Earth is overpopulated with earthbound spirits. Human souls who haven't ascended, they're just stuck, and so that could be a source of energy for these beings, these poor
mm.
bastards. And so that is very risky. Awareness is
The,
key.
yeah, the other thing is we're not here for that really. We're here to heal the earth and rescue everyone. All the lost ones, all the stuck ones. Yeah, so,
So, all in all, I think the safest bet is self trust.
yeah,
You don't need anyone other than the glorious self to work hard on becoming the best and let's say the best superconductor of divine light
mm.
and the intelligence of the soul, and then trust thyself.
Yeah, you becoming the best being, but you can be. I actually just have a list of say five or six. I've got two teams, Warrior and Healer. I trust them a bit, but the ones I channel would be Aspects and maybe me Guardian and a few of the higher beings that you like Kalimar and Sophia and even Isis, not very rare with Isis. She's very seductive actually. So
Kali,
try and be, yeah, Kalimar is good.
agreed,
I
agreed.
enjoy.
That that's
Yeah,
that's that's part of Kali's nature.
yeah.
It seems certain ones are safe bets,
Mm.
but you. This is one of the examples
The
where
Emerald Order as well. Yeah,
one must be careful what they wish for, because so
yeah,
for example, Kali is a purifier. Anything that is out of balance, she
yeah.
absolutely cleanses, and so you're the first recipient.
That's why I brought her in last night, so to get rid of this. help me get rid of this sensitive.
Oh,
Ideal
yes,
person
yes,
for you.
yes. Anytime I
Yeah.
get my dumb ass in trouble, guess who comes to the rescue? It's Kali. Oh, yo, 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 what have you? Here we go again. What have you done? Ha ha, help me. Kali
I'm a
is
bit
safe.
stuck. Yeah.
Just a little bit. Help. Yeah. Well, Kali is amazing. One of those beings that by very nature is incorruptible. And so for this many fear Kali. And so if there's anything within the being that is not balanced, that does not serve the highest good, she will absolutely get rid of it. And it's not always an enjoyable experience, but boy, oh boy, once it's gone, you are so much better for it. And so once you're happy with the purifying flames, as in the fire does not burn you, there is nothing left to burn, all is in balance and harmony, then she is one incredible and loyal ally.
You
Yeah, and
just
just,
reminded me.
uh-huh.
You reminded me there. I did a post earlier because someone said that what happens when you have a Kundalini awakening, it's negative. No one can have a Kundalini awakening, it's negative. The negativity is in your mind because of what's happening. Yeah. Because if you start having a semi-fit because the Kundalini is clearing the karma and the trauma, you start having weird fits, weird movements in your body, and the only negativity is your fear that you're having. I just wanted to say that mind,
Right, right, right.
yeah.
And it also has to be organic. It's
Mm,
probably not the best idea to have somebody else force it up through the central
mm,
column. One of the best triggers is abdominal exercises,
yeah.
the Sat Kriya.
Mm.
And again, before any spiritual practice, the actual spiritual stuff has to be observed. Have you
But
attempted to? Yeah.
yeah, the strange thing on Thursday night, the entity had opened the Kundalini and it was feeding off it. The actual parasite, the demonic had entered it. So it wasn't a proper Kundalini way of opening because you're getting rid of the layers and you're becoming spiritual and you start opening that. It was actually a forced one, and that's why it's quite dangerous. And that's why I ended up collecting
Right,
some that I
right, right,
shouldn't have.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is not unique, by the way. As far as
Mm.
I've seen, 85% of humanity is harvested from the root.
Yeah.
And so, before any sort of awakening, a gentle cleansing is required.
Mm.
So, that just to make sure the system is all clean. So, that Kundalini rise is the built in intelligence of the body doing an all
Mm.
systems check. And then it bursts
Okay,
out
a
of the
full
crown.
detox, a full MOT.
MOT, yes, yes, yes. Motor test or whatever that stands for. In the UK, we have the MOT to make sure your car
Mm.
is roadworthy. So this is the same thing. The body telling the soul, "Hey, buddy, all systems fine. Let's turn it up a notch." And so, if all
And
systems are not fine,
it's clearing the karma and the trauma out of every cell, and that's why you get these little jerks. It can be quiet, and the jerks tend to start rising up. I've seen that a few times, and you do get a bit worried when you hear someone doing that, but then you realise, and then
it's,
your
it's
guides tell you, yeah,
breaking up energetic blockages.
mm,
And so that resistance has physical effects. As
mm,
something is broken, that release of energy affects the nervous system. So, yes, Kundalini awakening, please do a proper healing and clearing before it. That would be highly recommended. And so, back to channeling.
yeah. We always diversify. We always a tangent attack, but it's interesting. It's always interesting because these are needed knowledge needed.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, when you deal with two wizards, not one but two, you never know where you're gonna go. So,
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever merge with the aspects, partly merge, not fully merge, where they come into your being. So I've sometimes had four or five inside me, which is very full. Yeah.
Initially, early days, yes. And so
Mm.
this is also, again, a gentle caution to our audience. Depending on what the entity is, this could be a doorway to possession.
Mm.
So if it's a negative being, it could completely take over the vessel and it wouldn't want to leave. Again, doesn't respond to polite language, and some slapping around are required. The safest thing, and this is my current practice, nothing takes over.
Yeah.
There's always a healthy, respectful personal space observed. And so imagine the vessel is a car. And so you may do someone a favor and give them a lift from point A to point B. You're still in the driver's seat. Worst thing is that you leave the doors open in a bad neighborhood and you yourself go in the trunk and leave the keys in the ignition. Somebody is going to take your vessel for a joyride. So that's not the best option, obviously, because they're going to drive
Yeah,
it like they stole
that's why
it.
you need a good protector as well for that. Yeah, powerful protector, guardian. Yeah.
So all cautions aside now. So we I think we did the disclaimers of this justice to our best ability. And so yes, it is hazardous, and one must be careful. But eventually, it opens up many gateways of knowledge, and so that is the reward. Of
Yeah.
course, there's going to be danger, but once you learn how to act appropriately and protect yourself, protect your dignity, and protect that which is sacred, the entire thing, then amazing things are available to you.
You do what I do, but each aspect has got an ability and knowledge on their own to a certain. It's like my Evra, which is a crystal source being Blue Diamond. She can read the Kashif a lot better. She can help me create a blueprint into the being, and she can help with grid work. And she thinks humans are not very clever. That's what she tells me. Anyway. Then is the Lemurian High Priestess. It helps me on healing, bringing in the feminine when I need healing, and also knowledge of Lemuria, basically. Then I've got the Ascended Master Hermes who gives me the Atlantean information. Very powerful, like godlike, like magic. He's like and god of magic, to be honest. And he gives me the knowledge of Atlantis, and then I have Merlin who gives me the magic spark that I need it from the wizardry and stuff like that. And then what else is there? I've got to say them all over. I even have Saint Germain in there who can transmute energies and create a flower. What is it? A violet flame flower that can transmute an whole area. Then I have Merlin, and I've told Merlin. I even have Moses in there, who was a wizard as well. He wasn't what the people say he was. He had a staff that created a portal into the water. He didn't do the work. He's told me all that. And a lot of these beings are very religious bound, and they've all told me they weren't religious. It's just how they've been prescribed since. But these are the beings. Now, if I need Aya, I then connect to me Andromeda me star seed connection, and I can bring prickly energy for 9 or 10D. Then I connect to the Emerald Order, which you or I probably got assigned here. I've been told I was assigned by myself. So I was part of the Emerald Order. I was assigned here by myself to make sure the Ascension works, make sure the convent of the Emerald Convent works for the agreement, make sure the rings around the FNO are working in line with the arc that's in the Bible. And then I can go higher still. I can go to Sophia or itself. So there's my system of defeating the dark if I need any of them. All of them are in the mix, sometimes quite a few. And then I've got two teams, warrior team and an healing team. So how do you do it then? What's your
Um,
secrets?
well,
Yeah.
compared to you, I am a simple creature. I go straight to the boss. Source of all sources,
Sources.
every
Yeah.
time. And so the source must be
Mm.
kind of sick of my low grade requests on and on, but beloved source has never, hey source, I want cheesecake, manifesti cheesecakeio. And so, but beyond
Mm.
beyond the laughing and joking,
We are different there. Mine's cream cake. Mine's cream cake.
cream, well, all cake is my friend. I can understand
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
But going to the source of all things, it's so much easier in the sense
Mm.
that there is almost no burden upon lower aspects of the consciousness. And
Mm.
so certain situations may require a very elevated approach, 12D primordial light or sound. So certain aspects, great aspects, may still be not evolved enough in that form to deal with it. So just going straight to source, ding dong, hey, guess who's back? It's you. So that's part of that shattering of the ego. Hello, it's me again, and yes, I'm a superconductor. There's nothing going on in here, and just let it flow. There
Mm.
is no me. There is only the beloved, beloved source of all things, and it becomes enjoyable. Zero resistance. You're floating upon the waves of the will of the beloved source, and so there you are, the forces of nature. You
Mm.
are the storm. You are the tsunami. You are the volcano. And you're just part of it, like every little aspect of it. You're just another aspect of it, and yet, in some level, you're guiding it, or there is no separation.
I think what you're saying is we can't do everything ourselves sometimes. A bit of help goes a long way. I've also got my guardian Doman, who's like a dragon human shapeshift. He just wanted to say that I connect with him. I didn't mention him. I don't want to get told off. So, yeah. But that actually reminded me when a paranormal team. I wasn't connected. And a the previous one had used a Ouija board and brought a 7D elemental, king elemental into our realm, which you know and I know it's not very good to be in this realm from that. It might even be 8D, I'm not 100%. And he was dying, so he connected his tentacle, his energy to all the women to keep alive. And the bloke who was running it asked me to come in and I started disconnecting. And I actually said to the medium who willed it in, "Don't look at my face."
Mm-hmm.
And then the lad ended up being out. And in the end, she had the entity in her, and I had to shapeshift into the ascended master. And she looked at my face, and I did actually shapeshift into it physically. She said it was the most frightening. But he then could take this being to its own. I couldn't, but it could. It had like bamboos, actually. It was very, very strange. Yeah.
The beings of
So sometimes help is always needed.
the beings of
Mm.
um, H.P. Lovecraft, I think, the Necronomicon, different realm. Best not to disturb these poor creatures. They're not suited for Earth.
No.
Earth is significantly tougher than most other realms. And so the very density and viscosity and heaviness of the energy is torture. And yet the mighty humans, here we are sitting, thriving, living our lives talking about cream cake and cheesecake and having fun talking about our experiences like nothing's going on. And all the while we're under an atmosphere of pressure. So, yeah, let live and let live. If they're not, if they're not invading, if they're not causing harm, hey, one more creation among the glorious infinity of beings. Let them do what they do.
Mm.
And so, huh, shall we maybe talk a little about light language now?
I was going to say before you said that is before we go channeling into your crystal. Right, when you program it, you're connecting to the conscious of the crystal. It's a being, and then you're channeling into it, and then you're asking the being the program you want. I just wanted to mention that because people just think it's just a stone. It's not. It's a living conscious, and you to actually get it to work for you, you've got to be very kind, very humidity, but you've also got to tell him, ask what you need doing, and that's channeling the being inside, basically. I wanted to say that. So, light language.
Light
I'll go into light
language.
language.
Okay.
Yeah, how many light languages is there? I'd say probably millions.
Many, many,
Hmm?
many. I
What
suppose
people don't understand, yeah, what people don't understand is I haven't heard that light language before. Yeah, it's because it's not the one that you know. So, and light language can come in ands, like, yeah, or it can come in the Arcturians, and it's very, very strange. So I was doing that, their signals, and I started speaking light language.
yes.
So that's channeling, isn't it? That's channeling the Arcturians. Yeah.
So there seems to be no grammar, no vocabulary, and no structure to it.
Mm.
And so many religious experiences, namely certain sects of Christianity, speak in tongues. And
Mm.
this, of course, goes back as long as humanity. It's basically channeling. Um, Hopefully, this is from one of our own aspects, information that then can only be understood intuitively. And so it could have great, great effects in manifestation, in healing, in combat, all sorts of things, the whole 9 yards. And so that's when, similar to channeling, another part of the consciousness is allowed to temporarily gain access to the vessel. Sometimes the vocal cords are involved. Sometimes it comes in automatic writing or creating light language on paper. It could be movements, it could be dance.
Be
And so
pain.
often, yes, yes, yes,
Mm,
yes, yes.
mm, mm.
And so it takes many forms. Now, understanding it requires an open intuition. The big problem is when the person does not consciously understand what they are saying and doing. Now, that could be dangerous.
The brain starts thinking. Don't let the brain think.
Um,
Yeah.
I
I
like to.
also think that there's different levels of like light language is basically like the Emerald Order's light beings. This is light language. You also have then the lower beings, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, and well, not the Anunnaki. You don't want to speak to them. You have all these sorts of beings that can connect in their language, and that's like a light language, but it's not as light as the higher beings. Just not going to say. Yeah.
It's if the objective is to understand it,
Mm.
the physical brain needs some sort of a reference or data points. The brain is brilliant in finding patterns, but those
Mm.
data points are necessary. So a good way for this is to go bottom up. So you set an intention, or you write down a statement, a certain meaning that you wish to convey, and then you allow your infinite soul to speak it in light language. It may come out different
Mm.
each time. That's not an issue. That vibration, that packet of consciousness is conveyed. Next time, when
It,
it's the soul initiating it, the mind has sufficient data points to start understanding, and that
mm.
greatly helps the conscious part of the mind. That is necessary. If one is speaking light language, at least the general bullet points or topics of what you are doing must be known.
Mm.
Is it a healing or not?
The other thing you've got to be careful is someone dismisses it, yeah, who criticizes you, condemns you, because that's planting a seed of negativity to block you, basically, block that access, and you just
Yes.
got to dismiss it. when I was born, you don't mind me talking experience. When I was born, I had suspected brain damage, and my first language was light language. I actually, because I'm a walking, I spoke light language first. Luckily, my sister, who is connected to me to a million times, translated it to me, mum and dad. So she was my translator to my language, which was great. But I did dismiss it because all of a sudden I was having loads of tests because I had brain damage, and that was a bit crazy time. And the only time I passed is when I got a square brick in a round hole, and I got it in, and I went yes, and that meant I was rebellious. I won't do what people say to do. I will do I'm my own boss. And I just wanted to prove them that I'm a smart ass, probably. And that's why it said he's uncontrollable. He's got his own brain, and that's what you need in this world.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
just wanted to say that. So it's been difficult when you come out with light language. People around will dismiss it, and you just got to expect that.
Right, 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 right. Often this is the reaction. I mean, even these wonderful people that believe in a more mainstream belief system like Christianity, and when they speak tongues, people think they're cuckoo.
Mm.
Now, take away the shield of mainstream religion, people think you're completely cuckoo until it becomes a conversation in light language, where each speaks their own light language and the meaning, so much meaning, is conveyed. Very powerful. And so it's a universal language. The dialogue between species that do not know each other's customs, each other's rules, and the grammar and structure and vocabulary and tones of each other's language. Maybe some species do not communicate linguistically. Their light language is completely different, but yet communication is universal. And
The
so
energy inside the program inside it. Yeah.
it is about the consciousness. And
Mm.
so an open heart and a clear vessel, and then access to everything that you are in all dimensions. You'll understand. You'll get the
Mm.
message pretty quickly. Sometimes images come, sometimes sensations come, different sensations. Entire storylines emerge from this. So, this is what the light language is.
I had our friend Sophie who's really, really ill, and she phoned me. I was in the car, and she said she's really ill. So I did like an healing song, and she said as soon as I said it, the illness just went completely went. But I told her to delete the voice, delete it. It's not from. I shouldn't be saying it. But she deleted. I asked her after, "Have you got it?" And she said, "No, I don't think because I could have. I was like that. I should have told people about it." And that's how powerful light languages or tongue. It can heal instantly anything if you set your mind to it. Yeah.
And so, it is the language of consciousness.
You
Let's
don't mind me
just.
disturbing. Yeah, you didn't mind me disturbing you though. These
Uh,
just sets and think memories in your mind.
it's all
Mm.
good, man. It's all good. Yes, yes, yes. And
Yeah.
so, practice is required to break the barriers of um, the mundane. Because the first one who's going to think this is nonsensical is the self. What am I even
Mm.
doing? And then
Why am I
once it
speaking
emerges,
gibberish?
yes, yes, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
Until the effects are observed. You mentioned powerful healing, but most noteworthy wizards, they use manifestation through light language. They're not just bringing in the emotions, but they're bringing in the entire soul.
You've got a memory. You just opened a memory. Have you ever spoke light language instead of English by mistake? I've done that. And people say, what? Oh.
Sorry, sorry, different language. Oh yes, 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 absolutely. And so then it reminds me of the phrase abracadabra. I speak it, and therefore it is. They're not
Mm,
referring to any human language. It is light language that you speak, and therefore it is. Everything in
mm,
nature, everything is consciousness. And so when you speak the language of consciousness, everything comes to life and responds.
And this manifestation of intention into the language is so, so powerful. It can do a lot of damage. It can really seriously do
Yeah.
that. Shall I tell you my story there? I was on
Yeah.
a forklift at work, 6,000 square feet, and it was windy outside. So I thought, what if I could make it more windier? And what I did an angel, like a tongue to create the wind. But what I did is I brought the wind to me, and the wind in Manchester went to my building. It blew a 20 foot shutters wide open, created a tornado in the building, lifted the building, and it collapsed while we were in it. And that's how powerful it is, and it condemned the building. So don't mess with it too much. It taught me a lesson.
I think that would be wise.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. This one was very enjoyable.
Mm,
First of all, good news for our wonderful audience that yes, a major battle has been waged and the
hmm.
outcome is balance, and that perhaps they have felt the energetic reverberations of it, especially during their dream time.
The rebound.
Yes. And then we talked about, what did we talk about? I'm just blissed out, man. Light language
Well,
and channeling. Yes, channeling. Hoo-hoo. So
we
again,
went
I
into quite a few angles. I have got some questions, by the way, but is
yeah,
there anything
let's
else you're
do it.
trying
Let's
to?
do it.
Do you know what's crazy about this? I'll think of some after. I think, oh, we didn't talk about that. And yeah, next week we could do at the end a bit of light language. Oh,
Ah,
oh, we could do it this time. Or
let's
shall
do
we
it
do
this
the
time.
question? Shall we do the questions first?
Any way is okay. Let's do the
So
questions.
some of them are on yours actually. So
Okay.
I think I answered them. Right. I do have a question. May I ask about sacred divine twin flames? Are there any planetary or grid blockages of sacred divine twin flames not integrating in union or reunion? Uh, just lost it a bit. As the divine masculine have a physical twin, how do any transmute their trauma? Perhaps a segment of twin flames at higher level counterparts, soulmates, much appreciated. Shall I say what I yeah, do you want me to do it or do you want to do it first? Yeah.
Uh, go ahead, please. Please begin.
This is from experience, right? Twin flames mainly don't are not romantic. They're basically the opposite or the twin of you. Sometimes it's weird when you're angry, they're happy. It's and they've got all your keys and codes. So they can open your heart chakra, they can open and they can heal you. They can do a lot of things. When I met my, well, when I connected to my twin flame in Australia, she sent some light language at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I cried for an hour. And I don't cry. It's one thing, had emotional blockages in my heart chakra, and she opened it up. I cried for an hour. Now, an hour crying to someone who's never cried before, I thought, am I going to do this for life? I was a bit worried. But we ended up helping each other spiritually. I helped her. And there was one thing while we were connecting, I actually wanted to heal all my uh my problems from every life I've ever had. After 3 weeks, I decided this was too much. You get all this karmic energy, all this trauma, all this it coming through yourself, and it becomes insane. You start cracking up, you start becoming crazy. But I think I healed part of the shadow. I got attacked by a shadow actually physically, and we actually healed each other, and it became a really bouncing affair when I started. It gave me an awakening. It actually gave me awakening, and I ended up giving me bacon butty and me doner kebab to me dog. And my kids thought I had a serious illness, like they do. Dad's crazy. He's having veg. What's wrong with him? And so your food starts changing. You start. going crazy. And that was my experience. And it was a wonderful experience, but a very scary experience because you don't know where it's going. I haven't got fear, but it was a experience. Where's this ending up? But the awakening, it makes you euphoric while it's happening. It makes you feel like you are God. So, what do you think of that? What's your
Um,
stance on it?
well, there's the very rare occasion of two shards from the same soul meeting up and doing healing work and education and remembrance, as you mentioned. And then there's the mainstream. Oi, 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 oi. And this has been turned into one of the most dangerous spiritual traps of all time, where
Mm.
one believes that they are divine masculine or divine feminine. Of course we do. Of course we're divine. And then assigning the same role to the other person, whether or not they are awakened or not. And then you're meant to go through this interaction, try to awaken them where they refuse to awaken, regardless of how much effort they're putting in. And very soon this turns into a relationship that is not healthy, that is not the way it should be, just because there's this belief built into it that you need each other in order to complete some sort of a spiritual project or mission. And so the abusive relationship continues, and then there's a breakup naturally, and then there's a twin flame reunion. Here we go again, a whole another karmic cycle of suffering and damage. And so I would be very, very cautious towards accepting any sort of belief system of this nature.
We actually knew each other, secrets that the other one didn't know. And one of the things that she did, she actually, on the Orion Wars, she cut me head off. And I had trauma from that. I could see her laughing, and we healed that part. So twin flames can kill each other as well in past lives. That's what it's a bit crazy. It's a crazy event. Very crazy. Yeah. So thank you for that. But I agree. A lot of times, if you're romantic, it could even be a soulmate. Think about it. It's probably if you're romantic and you both really, really connect, the chances are that you've manifested this soulmate. If the person has got the same sort of your belief system, probably manifest this being to come to you, and it's a soulmate. Right, the next one. Thank you, Philip and Dr. Amir. Another inspiration thought symbol in the tarot and ancient ones from mu, or like the ancient language and energetic of sound or in combination with light language. As you are doing that, yeah, would love that. Great to hear that the library's now. I think we've just answered all that in this. I think that's just saying, right, the next one. A very a very important talk about truth. Right. A very important talk about the truth of God's for us. I have had some concern over the few big influences encouraging their followers to welcome back the anarchy.
The what? The Anunnaki?
The anarchy. A lot of influencers encourage their followers to welcome the anarchy. Yeah.
Anunnaki, well, the ones that came to Earth are the runt of the litter. They're the
Mm.
doofus of the family.
Mm.
This particular group are not very evolved and they are not very nice. They caused massive destruction wherever they went out of
I,
ego.
I, I think technology they're well involved, but spiritually we're more
So,
involved. Yeah.
welcoming back the Anunnaki, I would say, why? What have they done that has been so brilliant in the past 250,000 years other than causing great suffering? Um, the implantation of the chakra system, reducing the natural level of our longevity down to an average of 35, 40 years to begin with. Now, through our own wisdom, we've extended it to around 75 years. I don't think these are very nice beings. welcoming them back is like,
they came here for gold at the end of the day, and funny enough, the gold isn't what they wanted. They wanted crystal gold, which was on their planet. Ours is not quite their brand. So
yes, and Anunnaki, at least the
I
ones
agree
that
with
are
that.
here. And then there are the rest of the family, the extended branch of that archetype of life, who did what they were supposed to and continued evolving, turning into incredibly beautiful beings of divinity and light, and a cause of great blessing and abundance upon everyone that they come into contact with. It seems Earth was their punishment. They were sent here to have a chance to learn for the last time or to be permanently removed. That is their destiny. I seriously challenge any notions of welcoming Anunnaki. That is dumb.
Mm. Unless you dark, I suppose. Right, next question. Thank you for these wonderful talks. My question is about suicide. What happens to the soul? My daughter-in-law, Jen, shot herself 4 years ago, devastating my son, Phil. So,
So, returning to the scientific method, which is through thousands of interviews with people who've had near death experiences, the duration that is meant in the life contract, however many years there is then spent in reflection. That life is sacred and you cannot violate the contract. But then, after that, very much so, a healing process begins, and the person is given a review of their life, and they choose to continue their journey of evolution. There is no cruelty, there is no eternal nothing.
no,
It's
really.
all this gentle dance of evolution. I'm terribly sorry to hear about this terrible traumatic loss, and I wish you and your wonderful family health and joy. Rest assured, the beloved source of all things is not a vengeful being. It is pure love, and so shed from your mind and your heart any distortion that may be introduced into your belief system. No, your wonderful daughter continues to be loved by the beloved source. That is the nature of source.
I had a niece commit suicide a couple of years ago, and funny enough, when she got buried inside the sky, I think I've shown you, there was an angel in all the colours of the angel to show peace. But just before then, what I did, I connected to her, and she's on my healing team for the lives that she would have had here. So she's now using her energy in a good way. Now, the only way that you can create your own now is you do create your own now. You ground yourself with fear. And I was just thinking while we're doing channeling for a minute, shall we try and connect to the person to see if she needs help or if she is getting help? Yeah,
Oh, she's okay. She's okay.
okay. Yeah.
And so,
I,
more
I'm get
detail.
I, I'm getting families helping her. I sent past grand great granddad name. Yeah, she's getting help by family descendants. Is that what you're getting?
She's okay. She's
Yeah.
okay. So, Philip, I need to unfortunately leave in a short while, and so let's continue our questions for our next show.
Yeah. Okay. There might be one more there, but it's okay. It
Okay.
took a while. Thank you for it. You probably don't work for me. But well, that's
This was
great. Well,
this was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
are we doing a quick sound bowl or have you
We
got
might
time?
as well. Yes, yes. Let's stick with the great tradition.
Yeah. Changes, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, my dear friend and wonderful fellow wizard, I wish you all the
And
very
you.
best until
I
next
wish
week.
you all the best and well done with the icons. Remove the crap from the
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Have a
Have a
great
have a
day.
great evening. Take good care of yourself. Everybody,
Bye
thank you for your
everyone.
time. All the very best.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.